So, hello everyone.
Hi.
So glad to see all of you. Welcome to the third and final orientation meeting for the winter 2021 cohort. We've had a couple of these already, and it's a lot of fun just getting kind of meeting everybody. And again, we have people on multiple continents and a bunch of different countries and stuff on the call, so that's really fun. Yeah, the agenda today is just to kind of go over sort of how Collab Lab works, get to know each other a little bit as well. Just we'll do some introductions, but try to just get you oriented to what the program is about and what you can expect over the next 2 months. This is especially fun because we have Caitlyn on the call. Caitlyn's doing the advanced project this time. Caitlyn and Stacie were both part of the very first ever Collab Lab team a year ago, August. So whatever that is, like 16 months ago or something. Caitlyn's come back for another round from the advanced project, so that's really fun. Yeah, why don't we start off by doing introductions. So I'm Andrew. I'm the founder of Collab Lab along with Stacie, and let's see. I'm prepared this time, Stacie. So I'm going to paste into the chat.
Perfect.
The prompts.
I was like at the ready. I'm proud of you.
I figured you had it. But I also had it. I translated it. Well, I translated. Google translated it into Spanish too. So you can let me know if that's accurate or not.
Speaking of doing things in Spanish as well,
it's accurate.
Okay. So like I said, I'm Andrew. My pronouns are he, him, his. I live in Portland, Oregon, on the west coast of the U.S. I'll be mentoring for TCL 20, which is the advanced project, but also kind of floating in and out of the other teams and helping out where needed. So the last prompt is, what's your favorite thing about the place where you live? So Stacie and Lauren have heard this already twice, but I'm going to say the same thing I said in the other meetings, which is I like the fact that Portland is a city. It's like it's got all the things that a city has, good restaurants and things to do, but it's very manageable. So, well, before the pandemic, you could get in your car on a Friday night, drive somewhere to a restaurant, park right out in front, wait 15 minutes to get in and have this great meal and stuff, which when I lived in the Bay Area, I know when you're in the Bay Area, like that's not really often the case, right? Like you have to plan ahead, like how you're going to get there, and a lot extra time and all these kinds of things. So I really do like that about Portland. I will pass it on to Stacie next.
Hi, I'm Stacie, co-founder alongside Andrew of Collab Lab. Let me look at the prompts. I've done this before. I'm not directly mentoring any teams this round, but I'm totally here for you as any other mentor would be if you have questions, comments, or concerns. So please keep me in the loop if you need me. I'm here for you. I'm located in Sacramento, California. And my favorite thing about Sacramento is, I was going to try and come up with something new that I didn't say the last 2 times, but it's always the weather. The weather is beautiful. It's hot and dry all year. Even when it's cold, it's like my neighbors just walked by in a t-shirt and it's like cold today. And I'm like, so it's good. It's sunny and dry and delightful all year round. When it rains, it's for like 15 minutes and then dries up real fast. So delightful. What else?
Pronouns.
I think that's it, right? Pronouns, she, her, hers. And yeah, here for you. So excited to see you all. Okay, I will pass it on to Melina.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Well, yeah, my name is Melina. Pronouns she, her, hers. Part of the team TLC 16. And right now I'm located in Medellin, Colombia. And my favorite thing about living in Colombia, maybe it's the food. The food here is delicious. There's a dish called bandeja paisa. If you ever come here, you have to try it because it's delicious. And yeah, the people here is very warm. So yeah, that's what I love here. Nice to meet you all. Nice to see you all.
Who do you want to pass it on to?
Oh, Julia.
Hello, my name is Julia. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm at the team TCL number 19. I'm from Austria, live in the capital city, Vienna. And it's a big and very beautiful city with so much history and beautiful old buildings. I really like it here. And what I most like about it is that there are so many different people from all over the world and so many different cultures. I really enjoy it.
Nice.
Welcome. Who do you want to pass it on to?
Pass it on Yanli.
Hi, so my name's Yenli. Pronouns is she, her. I'm not mentoring anybody this group. I'm here to learn to mentor and also to provide help and support. So feel free to message me if you need anything. I'm in the suburbs outside of San Francisco called San Ramon. So it's really quiet here is what I like, but it's also deadly boring. But with a young toddler, I love being close to grandparents. So my toddler is having a great time building a relationship. So that's what I love about it.
I love that.
That's it. I guess next is Caitlyn.
Hi, all. I'm Caitlyn. Like Andrew said, I was in the first cohort of Collab Lab. I'm so happy to be back. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I live in Portland, Oregon. Oh, I'm TCL 20 is the team I'm in, the advanced cohort. And yeah, I'm in Portland, Oregon. And one thing I've always liked since I moved here 6 years ago is I really like how people spend their money. I feel like they spend it on like good food, good beer, and just like getting outdoors. So.
That was such a thoughtful answer, Caitlyn. I love it.
I will
haven't heard that one yet.
To Lauren.
Oh, thanks. Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren. I am a mentor this time around for TCL 17. I think this is my fourth time mentoring, so I'm so excited to be back. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And I live in Minnesota, which is in the northern part of the United States. It borders with Canada. My favorite thing about Minnesota is, sorry, Andrew, Stacie, same old. I love that we have really different seasons. So right now, of course, it's winter and we have tons of snow and it's cold. And the days are very short, but in the summer, the days are super long. Like the sun comes up at 5 in the morning and the sun goes down at like 9:30, 10 at night. It's almost like, I feel like it's living in Scandinavian countries. So I just really like the different seasons. Let's see, Maisha.
Hello, everyone. My name is Maisha. I go by pronouns she, her, hers. I'm currently on team TCL 16, and I'm located just outside of Toronto, Canada. My favorite part about where I live is that even though I live in a city, there's still lots of nature and hiking spots around, so I kind of get the best of both worlds. I will pass it off to Michael.
Hey, everyone. My name is Michael. I am not working directly with any specific cohort this time around. I previously was a mentor on 2 different cohorts in the past, but this time around I'm going to be doing office hours, which is kind of a new thing for Collab Lab. What that means for y'all, and I'll be really throwing myself out there on Zoom as we go, is I'm going to be making myself available for y'all to just jump on a Zoom call with me, and we can talk about the project or the ticket that you're working on. We can talk if you want to learn something new. We can do that. Anything you want to go through and level up on. I'm your person for that. My pronouns are he, his, him, and I live in Gainesville, Florida. I've been thinking this whole call about this because y'all are giving such thoughtful answers to this. So the thing I like the most about Gainesville, I just recently had a choice to leave or to stay because I work remotely for the company I work for, and I chose to stay. And one of the things, it's kind of a weird one, that there's a law in the city that that buildings can't exceed a certain height. There's like a one building downtown that they decided that's the tallest building and we can't go higher than that. Anything in the zip code for Gainesville. And what happens with that is the city doesn't get too tall like New York City. And it kind of like grows outwards, and it doesn't ever really feel like a big city because of that, even though we have like, you know, at our peak 300,000 people who live in the city. So it kind of, I think it's just kind of unique. You don't really hear that out of a lot of cities. So that's kind of fun. But yeah, I'm going to pass it off to, and please correct me if I don't pronounce your name correctly, because with the last name Sholty, people mispronounce it all the time, so I know how it feels. Maria Angel Acosta? Is it Angel or Angel?
María Ángel.
Angel, okay, thank you.
Bueno, voy a hablar en español, no sé mucho inglés. Sorry.
Está bien.
Bueno, mi nombre es María Ángel Acosta. Como pronombre, María Ángel. Todos me dicen María Ángel. Soy del equipo 18 y actualmente estoy en Medellin, Colombia. Y lo que más me gusta de este lugar es, por allá había Melina bailando. Lo que más me gusta de este lugar es el clima, porque no es ni frío ni caliente y es durante todo el año. Entonces, durante todo el año puedes estar tranquilamente usando una camisita fácil o un suéter, como tú quieras, pero es súper chévere el clima. Eso es lo que más me gusta.
I'm pretty sure everybody from Medellin has been like, the weather.
The weather and the people and the food. Those are the things I've heard about Medellin.
And the tech scene is popping there.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
It's on point.
Yep. Good stuff. So great to meet everybody. This is awesome. I guess we can jump into stuff, right? So
yeah,
I will share my screen. And then I will just take 1 second to open the chat.
Oh yes,
rearrange.
Good point. So if any of you aren't super familiar with using Zoom, there's a little icon in the toolbar for a chat box. So if you want to pop that chat box up, if you have questions along the way, just ask them in the chat and we'll be here to answer them for you.
Yeah. So what is Collab Lab? It's a little late now because you're part of it, but Collab Lab. Collab Lab is a US-based nonprofit, but more importantly, the Collab Lab exists to help early career developers gain experience working on collaboratively on software teams. It's a really hard thing to gain experience with on your own if you're studying on your own, or even a lot of boot camps. They don't really emphasize project work or pairing and those kinds of things. So so we are here to help you get that kind of experience, and we think that will help you be able to go into technical interviews and be more confident, and hopefully help you get established in tech and get your tech career started. So that's why we're here. You'll be, over the next 2 months, you're going to be working on a project, a smart shopping list. So the idea of the app is that that as you make purchases, the app learns sort of what you need when. So keeps track of the intervals between purchases and things, so that it always kind of brings the things that you need soonest to the top of the list, if that makes sense. So there's a little algorithm we provide that helps with that. But yeah, that's sort of the goal of the project. Every team is going to will build the same app using the same set of instructions, basically the same stories and issues, tickets. But something that's really fun about Collab Lab is that every app comes out slightly differently, just based on, we kind of reflecting the personality of the group. So there is here in the, so this is the orientation doc. This is actually from the template repo, but each of your teams has this orientation doc in it. And I think Stacie put the Spanish language one in the chat as well. In this doc, there is a video that you can watch that does a walkthrough of the app that TCL6 made as an example. So that kind of gives you an idea of where you're going with the app. You know, your app doesn't have to look like this one. It doesn't have to behave exactly like it, but it sort of gives you a vision of what, you know, what you're working towards. So I highly recommend that you take 5 minutes to watch that. So you are joining Collab Lab, which is now 100, actually in the 115 people in our GitHub organization. But you're going to be on a team of 4. But you are joining a really a community when you join Collab Lab. So we have all those people. We're all in Slack, and we're sharing resources, and we're kind of learning from each other all the time. So you know, it's a great place to, you know, ask questions that maybe you're not comfortable asking other places and that kind of thing. Yeah, just very supportive kind of place. So you know, if you want to get better at some technology, or you want to understand how to do better in tech interviews and that kind of thing, you know, throw those questions out. We have channels where you can just get a whole bunch of experienced people helping you out. So every quarter we start a new cohort. So, you know, you're in the winter 2021. You know, we'll have a spring and a summer and a fall cohort, and each cohort has multiple teams in it. So this time we have 5 teams. We have 2 teams in North America. We have a Latin America team. We have a Europe Africa team, and then we have the advanced project going on. So the advanced project's not doing the shopping list again, Caitlyn. We have a different app that we're building. Anyway, your teams are each comprised of 4 developers, and you're going to collaborate on building this app with the guidance of, you know, I think in either 3 or 4 mentors across all the different teams. So tons of support as you go through and do that. So I think I kind of covered this a little bit, but we really believe that the collaboration skills that you are going to learn here in Collab Lab are essential to you being successful as a developer. So you know, people have different levels of technical skill and that kind of thing, but the people that really excel and kind of, in my experience anyway, and I've been doing this for 22 years professionally and have been an engineering manager for almost 10 years. People that tend to, you know, kind of get ahead in the way, like you know, like they learn more, they kind of do better in the work, and end up, you know, kind of being team leads and that kind of thing, are the people that are really good at collaborating, really good at communication, really good at, you know, kind of just you know, working together with other people to get things done. So those are the things that we focus on. One of the ways that we do that is through pair programming. So this is a huge emphasis with Collab Lab. You're going to have a certain number of hours each week that you're expected to put into what you're doing, but a portion of that we want you to directly pair program with the person that you're assigned to for that week. So each week you'll rotate through and be assigned to a different sort of buddy within your team, and you're expected to spend 2 or 3 hours during the week on calls, kind of collaborating directly, you know, trying to solve the issue for the week. So it's an opportunity to both teach and to learn, but you know, just the sort of Venn diagram, you know, the overlapping circles of knowledge just means that you're just going to be that much more effective in kind of solving the problem that's in front of you. So yeah, we really believe strongly in it. There's not any one right way to pair program. So lots of ways to do it, and there's, you know, lots of kind of blog posts and that kind of things out there that talk about different techniques for it. But generally what it means is you'll get on a Zoom call with your partner for the week and work through the task. You know, you're screen sharing, and there are other tools too where you can actually share a file and both be typing in, like in VS Code, there's a way to be typing in the same file at the same time, which is cool. But whatever you do, we encourage you to try different things out. You're going to be pairing, you know, with everybody on the team, so you're going to see different styles and kind of have a chance to experiment a little bit with what works for you. So we do a learning module in the 3rd week, at the end of the 3rd week, about pair programming. So we'll give you some guidance, but it's sort of later on purpose, so that you've had the chance to pair with everybody on your team before we get to that module. So I think that's it for me. I'll hand it off to Lauren, or am I handing off to Michael? I don't know who's doing what. Who's next?
Yeah, I'm next.
Are you? Okay, cool. How
Yep.
does it all work?
How does it all work? Could I share my screen?
You can.
Thank you. There we go. All right, we good?
Yep,
Perfect.
that's good.
All right, so we're going to start talking about some of the more details of your day-to-day about your participation in Collab Lab. So go ahead, when you have questions, just pop them in the chat and we can answer as we go. And just know that are we recording?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So this will be recorded. You'll be able to go back and revisit this, and also, of course, ask in your channels and in the main cohort winter, whatever that channel is called. Please feel free to continue to ask questions all the time. Be noisy in Slack. So how does it all work? The project that you'll be working on is organized in GitHub as a set of user stories. So here I'm in the TCL 17 repository. So from your main repo, here's the code tab. But if you go to the projects tab, you'll find where your project is located. And that's where you'll find this backlog of all of the stories that you'll be working on throughout the course of the 8 weeks. So there are 13 total stories. Each week, you and a partner will we'll have one story, and we go in order because it builds progressively. So for a story, for example, let me move my people out of the way. There we go. All right, each story has a description of what the issue is, and then we'll have a number of what we call AC or acceptance criteria. So these are the things that you need to accomplish with this particular story. And again, so you'll be assigned a story each week with your partner. And then so a task or story is done when all of the following are true. So all of those acceptance criteria have been met. If it's a UI focused feature, it needs to be reviewed for accessibility. And then the code to complete that task is first reviewed by the other pair of developers on the team. And once you've worked together and gone through code review with the other pair of developers, then the product owner, or i.e. one of the mentors, has then accepted the work and meets the requirements and gives an approval on that PR, right? So at the end of those 8 weeks, all of the stories will be complete. You're also free to create new stories or new issues if maybe there's something on the side that you'd like to work on and you find yourself with a little bit of time. But all of those stories will be complete, and you'll have just a gorgeous app. And as Andrew mentioned before, it's so great to see all of the different solutions that people come up to for the same challenges. So I know I know Stacie mentioned in the chat, don't look at their app, but it's really neat to go look at everyone else's repositories to see how they solved kind of the same issues. I always enjoy doing that. So in terms of, so that's how the project is broken down into these user stories. Now, in terms of coordination and communication, so it's really helpful for you, your partner, and the whole team, including your mentors, to really document what you're doing so that you're not like losing track of those details and all of the research that you're doing. And really, it will help you, especially as you go forward and you're interviewing at a company. You can pull up a particular pull request, and it maybe will have all of the details of the steps that you took, all of the research. So we in particular recommend that you open up a draft PR right away, like right at the beginning of the week. You have this issue, you don't even have to commit any actual changes. You can just create an empty commit. And then you have this draft PR, right? It tells me that it's a draft PR. And then in here, you can just make comments, putting in any research or questions that you have, maybe outlining the steps that you think that you might need to take to solve this particular issue. So opening up a draft PR, that's a really great way to organize your research with your partner. Another thing that we do is that every week, your mentors will create a thread for your particular issue with your partner. So for example, this is from TCL 10, Kat and Quinn were working on this issue, and they would organize all of their work for the week, like plan out when they were going to meet for pair programming, links to articles that they thought were really interesting that might help them solve their issue, etc. So having this thread where you're organizing all of your information in Slack, and then the draft PR is great for you to show upcoming in interviews to help keep your work organized. And it really also helps your mentors kind of track your commits, like how you've been working through your particular issue. So speaking of Slack and threads, so a lot of us maybe have experience working in Slack, but if you're not familiar with it, it's no problem at all. But some tips for working in Slack. Number one, threads, right? Threads are really valuable for helping organize information, organize questions and answers all in the same place. It makes it a lot easier to, because Slack can be very noisy, right? We get a lot of information in there. And I think the challenge with Slack is to organize it, and threads help keep that information organized. So use those threads to encapsulate that information, the question and answer in the same place. Notifications, it's really valuable if you need a specific person or a specific group of people to see a message, go ahead and tag them. So if you need to get my attention, just @Lauren, or if you need to get the mentors for your particular cohort's attention, we have groups created already. So there will be @group TCL17 or @group TCL17 mentors. Go ahead and tag them. It makes the communication loop go much faster, and you can get those people's attention right away. So do not be afraid to mention somebody. And then finally, with Slack, this is really important. And when we're working remotely, so much of our communication, one, will happen asynchronously, like not at the same time, and will happen with written communication. So using GIFs and emoji is really valuable for conveying tone and kind of lightness, and adds a little spirit to that communication, especially when it's a little more casual conversation and communication like we do in Slack, right? It's not this big formal written document. So like use those GIFs and emoji liberally. And I think it's really important, kind of piggybacking on that idea of how Slack is really our main tool. Be noisy in Slack. It doesn't have to be just communication about the issue or the project or anything. Just talk about what you did this morning or some interesting story that happened to you. I love to just kind of pop in the middle of the week and talk about maybe how my week is going, or particular something that I'm working on at work, just to help get to know your teammates and get to know your mentors and really create that community. Yeah, anything else? Stacie, you always like to chime in on this one.
All the way over to unmute. No, like that's exactly right. The best way to collaborate is to work on a team of people who you trust. And the only way you can build trust in a remote setting like this is communicating with each other. And like Lauren was saying, not just about your code, but about your life and who you are as a human, because the human you who's writing React hooks and building beautiful components is the same human you who, you know, may have had a rough morning or maybe having a brilliant morning and you want to share it with people. So be the full you and use Slack in this way to kind of like build your team and build friends here and build your community, because we're all in this together. Yep. That's all.
Cool. Yeah, especially at the beginning of this process, like we're all getting to know each other and we're all a little nervous, like, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to do this project? Who are my mentors? Are they nice? Are my teammates nice? Like, just feel free to be noisy in Slack, and that really helps build that community. Cool. So in terms of the development process in Git, never fear. So the first weekly sync this Sunday, there's going to be a learning module in Git, and we'll work together to create the initial feature branches. So this isn't going to be a super detailed deep dive into how to work with Git, But know that when we're working on an issue, you'll create a feature branch with your partner. And we have a specific naming convention. So it will be the initials of one person, dash, initials of the second person, dash, and then a short description of the particular user story that you're working on. So for example, this Git branch was Stacie is working with Alejandro, and they're working on an issue that's connect to Firestore. Right? It doesn't have to be an overly complicated description. It honestly just has to be meaningful to you, but that's the convention that we follow. Cool. So when you are ready to start working, one of you in the pair will create the feature branch. They'll push that up to GitHub, and then the partner will pull that branch down just to make sure that you're working on the exact same branch. When you've worked on the code and you feel like, okay, everything meets the acceptance criteria, we're ready to go, you work with your partner to create a pull request. One person of the team will do that. And then again, in Slack, notify the other pair team that you have a PR for them to review, and go ahead and remember to @mention them. Then there'll be the first round of code review, and that you'll incorporate feedback from the other team until you're both satisfied, and they'll approve your PR. And then there's a second round of code review that happens with the mentors. So once it's approved by the other pair team, go ahead and tag your mentors in Slack. Let them know that it's ready for their code review. And then once it's approved, you get to merge your PR into main. And then everything is built and deployed to production automatically with Netlify, which is fantastic. And that is it. Cool. I think I'm passing it off to Michael. Yep. Do you want me to keep sharing, or would you like to share yourself?
I'll take it off your screen and put it on mine here.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, if you cancel your screen share.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. Let me get, what is this? Brave. Yep, that is Brave. All right. All right. Y'all can see what I have here on my screen, right?
Sure can.
All right. So let's talk about the timing of how this all works week to week. So as Lauren said previously, this is going to go span over 8 weeks, and the expectation is we're going to invest roughly 40 hours into building this project over the next 8 weeks. So how that breaks down is it's going to be roughly 5 hours a week. So what are we doing in those 5 hours each week? The bulk of that time should be dedicated to working with your partner. And when I say working with your partner, that involves planning who's going to work on what, how are you going to solve the problem, and discussing some issues that you hit along the way. And just in general, just coding the solution to your tickets. 1 hour of that will be dedicated to our weekly sync. So every Sunday we meet as a team and we talk about our successes for the week, and I'll get to that in more detail later. And then the rest of your time should be doing solo research, code reviewing of other people's code, and organizing. So we're dedicating most of our time to pair programming, but some of the work will be done on your own too. So the weekly cadence, this is a great meeting. I love these meetings. This is a time for us to celebrate our victories each week, and get together and just present everything that we've done. That happens every Sunday. But I kind of want to take a few steps back and walk back what has happened throughout the week to reach the weekly sync and demo. So as you can imagine, as everything in life, I lost the word for that, but just like everything in life, you can't just jam it all in the last day, right? You can't jump on a Zoom and slam some code out on Sunday morning and then jump on the demo. There is like a weekly, just because everyone's on different schedules, you have to make sure that you work throughout the week and you invest a little bit of time every day into your project to make sure that you come Sunday with something working and something presentable. So what does that look like? If you take a few steps back from Sunday, you have Friday and Saturday. You have to have something available for people to review, right? So before we merge stuff into main, you have to get approvals from people, and you can't expect them to approve it like an hour before the meeting. So the best thing to do is sometime Friday or Saturday to open a PR on GitHub, so people can take a look at the code that you want to merge in, test it on their own machine, and understand the changes so that they're comfortable with them. To be able to get something ready on Friday or Saturday for review, you have to be working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with your teammate to make sure that you have that code ready. So we get off the sync on Sunday. I would recommend Sunday night or Monday morning, or sometime on Monday, just jumping on a Zoom call and talking with your partner to understand, just talk through the solution with your teammate. You should be able to verbalize what you want to do to solve the problem. And then you can distribute, like I'll work on the styles, you work on the JavaScript, or I'll work on this React component, the list item, while you work on the list component itself. So y'all can work together to distribute the work evenly. So yeah, I hope that makes sense, that just the investing a little bit of time each week helps you build up to this kind of like volcano eruption of celebration on the weekend on Sunday when we all meet together and talk about our successes. So the weekly sync itself here, how that kind of breaks down each week, it's an hour-long meeting. The first 15 minutes, like I said before, is when we talk about our successes. So the best way to, I have a few thoughts about this. The best way to demo your code first, I think the best thing you can do is to practice the demo. Just walk through it on your own machine. You don't have to build a PowerPoint presentation. You don't have to, you're not giving a talk at a conference, but I think it's really important to think about the presentability of what you're gonna show everybody. So when we have 15 minutes, right? It's not a lot of time. Make sure you hit all the major points of what your code does, and hit on some of the stuff that you encountered throughout the week. So if you had a challenge that really jammed you up for a few days, talk about that. We all want to know about that because it's really important to know. If you saw a part of the ticket that you decided to make your own, right? I decided to go completely off the rails and just add a bunch of styles here to make it my own. Talk about that too. We really want to know about everything related to like your thought process involved with the work. After we demo, we alternate each week. So the first week will be, I guess the second week, right? The second week will be a retrospective. We spend 30 minutes doing a retro. This is actually really common in the programming world, where people spend time reflecting on the positives and negatives and things that we can improve on throughout the software development lifecycle, to make sure that we improve over time and we don't just keep repeating the same mistakes. But also, like I've said before, celebrating a lot of the victories that we had, because that's really important to talk about too. We do those every other week. The reason I think we don't do them every week is because sometimes you don't have enough time week to week to kind of like build up thoughts and feelings on things that are going well and things that are maybe things that you have to improve. So having it every other week helps give you some space to think about that. So in between those, we'll be doing learning modules. So the weeks that we don't do retrospectives, we'll do learning modules. And We'll dedicate that time to helping you level up as a programmer and helping you level up as a software engineer on a team that has to deliver code. So we'll be going over all sorts of stuff. And then after those learning modules, we'll spend the last 15 minutes planning. So we'll be distributing the tickets for the next week, making sure the teams understand who's working with who. And then just talking a bit, right? We'll talk a bit about what we want to do to solve it. I think like a really high level. We won't, be writing the code, of course, but we'll go over it and just make sure that everyone understands what it takes to get this across the finish line. So that is a kind of an overview of the weekly syncs, and let's together recap everything that we've gone over here now.
Yes, thank you. Will you just keep sharing your screen while I run through this? Because I don't have it pulled up on my end.
No worries.
Perfect. So, wow, that probably seemed like a lot of information because it was. So, it is very fair for you to not quite understand how we do something because we probably missed something. If you have questions, if something wasn't clear, please, please, please ask us, whether it's here in this call or in Slack. I do encourage you to, if you have a question in Slack, please try to keep it in the open, in the cohort channel or in your team channel, because there's a really good chance that somebody else has the exact same question that you do. And if you post it publicly, we can all learn together and we can all be on the same page. So share your questions. We are totally here for you. I know that this seems like a lot, but when you get into it, it'll all start to kind of fall into place. What is it that you like to say, Andrew, about the game thing?
It's like when you're trying to learn a new board game or something, and you're reading the rules, and you're kind of like, I don't really get it. But then as soon as you start playing it, it all starts to make sense, right? It'll be the same kind of thing with Collab Lab. Like, after the first week, you'll be like, oh, okay, I see how it all works, how it all fits together. And then you'll be off and running.
Like it seems like a lot here, but although you'll be working on a different project, like different task each week, the week will be set up in the same way every time. So it will become very predictable, and you'll get a really good handle on how to navigate that. So let's recap everything we just talked about. Andrew gave us a high level intro of what Collab Lab is. Lauren told us how we're going to do everything. Michael told us when we're going to do everything. And now we're ready to do the things. So in your time at Collab Lab, you're going to gain experience working with a team and collaborating to build a really awesome app that is from you and your teammates, and you can put so much personality into it, and you get to use your brain and your skills and collaboration to solve the puzzle. So it's not like school or boot camp where a lot of us went and they tell you how to solve the problem. We're just like, here's the problem. You're smart, figure it out together. And that's where it comes up with like a lot of different fun solutions like Lauren was talking about. So you're gonna get a lot of great experience working on a team. We're gonna spend 8 weeks working together to build this app. Please check out the demo of the app before this Sunday, because if you see kind of how the app is in the end, it'll give you a better idea of what you need to do each week as you go through the stories. So check out the demo, please. Let's see. You will be on a team of 4 developers, and you'll have somewhere between 3 and 4 mentors as well. Each week, the 4 developers will split out into 2 pairs of 2, and each pair will tackle one of the stories on the storyboard. Let's see. Okay, you will spend about 5 hours a week working together. 2 to 3 of them will be pair programming. The other ones will be organizing. Do try and track your time. One of our efforts in breaking down these barriers into tech is providing a program that can be done in a reasonable amount of time. And we think 5 hours is reasonable. So if you find that you are spending more than 5 hours, let us know, because there's a chance we can make, program refinements, or it could be a good opportunity for one of your mentors to help work with you on time management, which is another really helpful skill to have when you're going into that dev job. So keep track of your time. Let us know how it's going with that. The only way that we can grow is through feedback. So please let us know. Let's see. Okay, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're going to pair with your partner. Wednesday, Thursday, you're going to start getting your PRs up for review. The other pair is going to review it first. Once they approve, your mentors will review it. Once the mentors approve, you'll push it up into production, which is the site online where the whole world can see your app, and you'll celebrate and you'll demo your work and say like, look at this cool stuff that we built. And then you'll have your weekly sync and you'll start it all again. Any questions? Again, I know that that's a lot and we're totally here for you if you have questions. Questions, anybody? It's okay if you don't have them now, you probably will. Just post them in Slack if you do.
I was gonna say I don't have a question, but I am having memories of when I encountered my first merge conflicts, which was in Collab Lab. And it was a nightmare. I had no idea what I was doing. And I think I asked the same question, probably to Andrew and Stacie, like about 20 times. And it was such a struggle, but it was such a safe place to be completely lost. So I would just say, if you ever feel like, oh my God, I've asked this question 20 times, you're not alone. And this is like a really good place to be lost and learn and figure it out. And by the time I got to my first job, I was like, I've seen these before.
Yes, Caitlin, that melts my heart. I can't even, I like have done the same thing too though. Like I have a like merge conflict, like how to, like I think I wrote a Dev2 post on it. That's seriously like a compilation of like things Alejandro told me to do, things Michael told me to do, things like our friend Eric told us to do. And it's like, everybody had little good pieces of advice that fit together really well. And I wouldn't have gotten all those perspectives if I hadn't asked 20 times. So ask 20 times if you need to. It's okay. Helps people learn to have to explain it too. So it's all good.
I have a question.
Sure, Michael, what's your question?
What's next? We just got done discussing all this. So what?
Good question.
Next?
What is next is that this Sunday, the cohort kicks off. And I believe you all have your weekly syncs scheduled already. Those weekly syncs will happen at the exact same time every week in the form that Michael had mentioned. So what you'll want to do, first of all, is make sure you get your team's project pulled down onto your computer locally. Each team has their own repo on GitHub and you should have been invited to it. And in the README of that repo are instructions on how to pull that down onto your computer. You'll also need to make sure you can add your name to the contributors file, which again, instructions are in your README. And it's just a way for us to make sure that you're ready to go and you're able to push up to GitHub like you'd be able to expect. So get the project pulled down, add your name to the contributors list, show up on Sunday, crush it.
Stacie mentioned that it's not school, and there's another way that it's not like school, and that's that you're not being graded here, right? So we're not. There's something called summative feedback, which is where you're basically being evaluated and graded on a scale, and but none of that is happening here. What this is a team working together to get something done, right? So I hope that kind of frees you up a little bit to just kind of be yourself, bring yourself to the work. And if somebody has something come up on a weekend and they can't be on the call, the team, we can cover for each other, but we can only do that if we're communicating, right? So that's part of the kind of learning the collaboration side of it. But you're not being graded here, so that type of pressure is off. Really, it's more of accountability to your team and kind of helping out wherever you can that way. And there was one other thing I wanted to say, and that was, oh yeah, just I guess related to that is that like we really emphasize a growth mindset with what we're doing. So if you're not familiar with the concept, it really just means that you believe that you are capable of growing and getting better at things. So none of us were born knowing how to program computers. Like it's not a natural skill that is somehow passed on through genetics or anything. So we all had to learn it. We all had to start from scratch to do that, right? So yeah, maybe someday in some future iteration of humans, it'll be built into us, but it's not right now. So so just again, hopefully that frees you up too, just to be a little bit more open with saying like, I don't know this. There's no shame in not knowing something, but it's an opportunity to learn and get better at the thing. So when we say be noisy in Slack, that's a big part of it, is like, hey, I don't understand how this works, and I've never seen this kind of thing before. I've never done a
Mhm.
merge. You know, can someone just kind of walk me through it the first time? I know that I'm capable of doing it eventually once I learn it, but I've never done it. So it's
Yeah.
all totally fine.
And ask your questions like early and often. Like everybody's been saying, be super noisy. Don't spend too much time spinning your wheels on one thing. Like research it, try and figure it out. But if you can't figure it out, just ask a question and your mentors and your teammates will be there for you to help push you in the right direction. They might not, you know, give you the explicit answer, but they'll help you kind of take the next step into finding the answer for yourself and like build those skills that you need to get, you know, like get in the groove as a developer and figure out how to find answers. So we're here
Yep.
for you.
Yep.
You're not alone. You have a whole cohort here across the world ready to support you.
Mm-hmm. How's
That's
everybody
all I
feeling
got.
about it? How are you feeling about it? Yeah, Melina's psyched. All right. Oh, good, good. Lots of thumbs up. Cool. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Can't believe it starts again on Sunday. So we off and running. It's gonna be great.
Yes. This
Cool.
is so exciting.
Yeah, in the meantime, if you have any questions at all, either in your team channel or in the cohort channel, you know, feel free to ask those things. Yeah, like I said, once we've done it for a week, like it'll seem really natural in the whole flow, but we'll kind of get it all figured out. So
Totally. Feel free to reach out to in your team channel, like introduce yourself and just chat too, like get to know them before Sunday. That's fine too.
yeah, for sure. Great. Can't wait to get to know all of you better and to work with you over the next 2 months.
All right.
Thanks a
well,
lot.
with that, goodbye, everybody. We'll see you on Sunday.
Bye.
See ya.
Great to see everyone. Take care.